Fandoms Anonymous.
What's going on, people? This is Fandoms Anonymous. Welcome to Your Therapy. We're here today to cover some exciting news that dropped on yesterday. The title for the new Star Wars movie is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I got my main man, Kevin Garlington, here with me. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? Ready to talk about this Star Wars?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I think this is the most I've ever been in the Star Wars and since the prequels. But we're not gonna talk about that because a lot of people don't like those. But
yeah, that's true.
But when I saw the title, The Last Jedi, of course, the first thing I thought about was Luke. I thought about Luke and, you know, his backstory and everything that came from that. But I was also talking to a friend of mine at work. His idea was maybe it's Finn, maybe it's Rey, maybe it's Kylo Ren. But his main thing that he thought it was it was going to end up Finn was going to end up being a Jedi. So Kevin, what do you think about the title, The Last Jedi?
Okay, well, number one, I think it's an exciting title. I'm kind of glad to see that they kind of are going up the gut and addressing what's going on with the Jedi, regardless of who it ends up being. Now, my thing is, I think they're talking about Luke. And, again, a lot of times movies can have, those titles can have two different meanings. But just up front, just what I know of Star Wars, I think they're talking about Luke. Now, and I'll give you my little synopsis real quick of why I say that. In Return of the Jedi, right before Yoda dies, he says, basically, I'm going to paraphrase because Yoda speaks backwards. So he says, basically, when I die, you'll be the last Jedi, okay? Up until this point in the movies, we don't know of any other Jedi that are out there. Luke was the last one trained by Master Yoda. Now, and we know that they've hinted at Luke started a new Jedi Academy and everybody was killed, blah, 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 blah. They've hinted at that. We haven't seen it per se in the movies quite yet. So I'm just going to go with the simple theory that they're talking about Luke, and we'll get his story and how he ended up where he's at. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So when I look at the end of The Force Awakens and I see, Rey has the lightsaber and she's handing off to Luke, where do you think Luke was coming from? Do you think he was just wandering around, just kind of hanging out to himself, or do you think he was coming from somewhere specific?
Well, that place that he was at, that she had to find him, in the movie, they were saying that he was looking for the first ever Jedi temple. Okay, so maybe Luke was looking for something, or actually waiting for someone. Maybe he was there waiting for Rey. So we really don't know. And then, as with always with Star Wars, things could change. Maybe Luke doesn't make it out of this movement, and Rey or somebody becomes the last Jedi. We never know. So I don't want to go too far down the speculation path on who's going to live and who's going to die. But I just think up front they're talking about Luke.
Yeah, and I saw something funny this morning on Facebook. It was a scroll like Star Wars does, the credit scroll at the beginning, and it was said Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Please don't kill Luke. Please don't kill Luke. Please don't kill Luke. And it kept saying it over and over and over again. Now I always hear about this Order 66. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Now, what is that all about? I know it was basically to kill all the Jedi. Why did they input that? With Order 66, we like I said, we know it's to kill all the Jedi, and then of course we got this title, The Last Jedi. So, and this is another question I have: is Mace Windu considered a Jedi, or were all those people that were in like Attack of the Clones? All those people are considered Jedi, right?
Yeah.
Or is it anybody with a lightsaber considered a Jedi?
No. So let's back up because your question has a couple different things, and I can answer pretty quickly. Order 60, we go back to Attack of the Clones, okay? There was a clone army that was created, okay, for the Republic. There are certain things that when you make a clone in the Star Wars universe, there's certain things that you can do. Order 66 was something that was kind of programmed into these clones. When the order was given, the order was to kill all the Jedi. You have to remember, there was a whole backstabbing plot of the Emperor actually, got this army kind of created and kind of took it over. And that's a whole story in itself about how they came about knowing who created the army and all that, but we won't dive into that. Just know that the Emperor was in control of the stormtroopers, the first clones, Attack of the Clones. That's what the clones of that clone army. They put those orders out there so he could easily eradicate all the Jedi. There's no way, even as powerful as the Emperor is, there's no way with all the Jedi masters that were out there that he would be able to defeat them. But when you put them in a war and they come to trust these troops every day, you give that order and they shoot them in the back or whatever, it's very, very hard, for them to overcome something like that. Now, when you look at Mace Windu and all those guys were part of the established Jedi Order that was part of the Republic, okay? What happens is when you give Order 66 and you look at the events of Revenge of the Sith, they're only, I'm only talking about movies here. For all you real Star Wars fans, we're not talking about extended universe stuff or stuff that went on in the comics, because there's the statement I'm about to make is only for the movies. In the movies, the only two Jedi that are left are Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Yoda. Okay, I'm only speaking movie canon here. We know some different stuff that happened. But Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda are the only two left. Henceforth, why you move forward into the original trilogy as far as forward in the timeline, and you see that Obi-Wan dies, and then Luke trains with Yoda. And Yoda tells him, when I'm gone, the last Jedi you will be, okay? I want to make a small statement here. There are a lot of stuff that's not that's in the extended universe, which they call the legend stuff now. You have the Star Wars Rebels cartoon, which expands on a lot of stuff or whatnot. So what I don't want to do is try to make people look at all that stuff. We're only talking movies right now, because the way the Star Wars universe is set up, you only have to watch the movies to keep up with what's going on in the movie. However, if you enjoy extra entertainment, you can watch a lot of the cartoons and read some of those books and things right now. So I just want to make sure people understand I'm limiting our conversation to movies only. Okay.
Well, I like the approach, that Disney is taking. Disney is really becoming a powerhouse, in as far as movies and the sci-fi world, of course, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and especially with Star Wars. And when I saw the title Last Jedi, I was like, okay, this one looks like it's gonna be good, because with the end of the Force Awakens, we had the whole moment like we talked about earlier with Rey and Luke, and it's like you really want to know where he's been and what's going on, and just like you say that quote that Yoda made, the last Jedi you will be, once he goes on. And I'm looking at the fact that Mark Hamill he's amped to play this role. He's amped to bring back and shed some light. And I think moving forward, even with the passing of Carrie Fisher, I think Star Wars has really exploded on a whole nother level now. And it's coming back in. This is what you would call the third coming of Star Wars. You had Star Wars in the 70s. It came back in the early 2000s, disappeared. Of course, we had the cartoons and the books in between there. And now this is like the third coming, with The Force Awakens and then Rogue One. And then now we got, this movie coming out at the end of this year, The Last Jedi. So I think Star Wars is something that's really never going to die out. We may not have 8, 9, we may not have 10, 11, 12, 13 movies. You never know. But at the same time, it's something that's always going to live in other factions. You got toys, books, cartoons, video games. It's going to continue to go on because we're already at over 30 years. Am I right on that? It came out in 77.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right. I mean, it's not going anywhere. I mean, and Disney has already made it to a point to where they're doing these standalone films. They got the saga continuing and whatnot. And again, one thing about the title, inside Disney's official press release, to go back to the title for a second, inside their official press release that they have, and it's on StarWars.com for those folks who want to read it, it's very short, but it says this is the continuation of the Skywalker saga, which is what leads me to believe they're talking about Luke. Now, It may end up being that Luke may not be the last one at the end of the movie. You know, and I want to be clear, you know, it doesn't mean he's going to die either. You know, it's just saying in the press release, this is the continuation of the Skywalker saga. So at this point right here, you know, we have to just kind of wait and see, wait for a trailer, and then, you know, obviously wait to December 15th this year when the movie comes out. But one point I want to make real quick now, because you made an excellent point about Star Wars and 30 years and this and that. But what happens is a lot of people that I've talked to recently are a little bit afraid of the Star Wars universe because they don't know where to start. I would tell people this. Just watch the movies. Just watch the movies. Get started there. That is the main form of entertainment with a thread you can understand, and it clearly goes through. Now, people have a debate. Which order should you watch the movies and blah, 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 blah. You can watch them 1 through 7, all the way up that way. You can watch 4, 5, and 6, and then go back and watch episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then go to 7. I don't know if I really have an opinion on that, so to speak, but I will say this. Watch the movies. If you want to figure out or you want some extra entertainment, one phenomenal Star Wars show is Star Wars The Clone Wars, which takes place between episode 2 and 3, and it's a CGI animated show. It's currently streaming on Netflix. I think it's about 5 or 6 seasons up there. The whole show is up there. It's a phenomenal show. If you're into Jedi and lightsaber battles and you want to see the cool stuff, that show actually elongates the Clone Wars and shows you a really big chunk of the Star Wars universe. Currently, now you have a Star Wars Rebels TV show, which is in between Episode 3 and A New Hope. Okay, so it takes place there. It's not about the not about the Skywalker clan or whatnot. It's about a band of rebels, but it has a lot of people that show up in the earlier films. So those are things that you can expand upon. But if you want to get started with Star Wars, you say, hey, I want to know what's going on, just watch the movies. Don't worry about the books. Don't worry about cartoons. Just get there first, because it will bog you down. It is so much that you will be like, I don't know where to start. And one thing that a lot of people, tend not to talk about is the fact that you do not have to read one comic book or one book outside of the movies to understand what they're doing in the movie. Now, if you want to get a better understanding of these characters, you want to see some other cool stuff, you want to know why they say this or expand on this and that, then you go a little bit deeper. But you do not have to, not one bit. That's my spiel.
Now, I got one question outside of The Last Jedi, but dealing more with the cartoons. There's a certain character that I noticed has gained a lot of popularity. It's that female character, Ashoka. Where does she fit in all of this?
Okay, you meet her in the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series. When I just spoke about it on Netflix, okay? And basically, without going into all the Star Wars terms for folks, she is a Padawan that is assigned to Anakin Skywalker, okay? Padawan is a term, we just call it a trainee, okay? She's a young Jedi who's training. Jedi trained under a master, okay? Anakin was her master. She is one of the best creations outside of the movie. Very likable character, very strong, very interesting, and then you see her come back in the Star Wars Rebels show, okay? But she's not in the movies. She's somebody that you pick up with in that animated series, and it's pretty interesting, her trajectory as a character. So that's what she comes in at.
Okay. I got one last. I'm ready. I want to see this movie. I want to actually go to the theaters and see it. A lot of the last two movies I've watched a lot of reviews and had a lot of conversations on them. But I think I actually want to go to the movies and see, this one when it hits in December. It's a lot of movies coming out this year. I mean, this is just beginning of news on top of news.
Absolutely.
But anything else you got on The Last Jedi?
No, that's pretty much it. I know there's a lot of discussion out there. I'll hit a few points real quick. There's a lot of discussion out there about the color because it's red. What does that mean? I have no clue. I'm not even going to speculate on the color of the font for Star Wars, okay? It's red. Does it mean anything? I have no clue. other thing is, and this is a real crazy argument, people are saying, well, if two Jedi walk in the room, would you say there's two Jedi or there's two Jedi? Well, people are saying that the term Jedi, it can also be used as a plural form of the word as well. So the Last Jedi might not be describing one person. That's a popular internet argument. I'm not in that argument. I'm not trying to have it. I'm just telling you these are the things that people are talking about and how much people are breaking this down.
So that does make a lot of sense.
It does. It does make sense, and it makes you scratch your head. But I want people to realize that, hey, it's just a title. We got a title in the press release. So when you hear these things coming out there, these are people speculating. And, hey, I love a good speculation, but don't take them as fact. You know, the only facts we're going to have is once we go sit in a movie theater and we see what's going on. But it's fun to speculate.
Awesome, awesome. Well, guys, just stay tuned to us for more. A lot more coming out. DC TV came back this week with Supergirl. Our Supergirl review is already up. And we're going to be talking about a lot more because this is a long year of movies and Netflix and TV and comic books and just everything you can name of. So, Kevin, we appreciate you for hopping on with us today, talking about this Star Wars The Last Jedi. Guys, if you want to find us, you can find us everywhere. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. This is Fandoms Anonymous. Thanks for joining.